Hey folks, welcome back to my conning tower here. This is where all the action happens. I've got something to talk about here. GM NOx sensors, I kind of busted on the guy, I didn't trust it. There's a couple anomalies with the package. I can't explain that at the minute other than probably a different place. And these do not say made in Mexico, it says assembled in Mexico. No more comments about my screwed up haircut. I'm getting a little sensitive. I can't fix this shit. I don't want to open it. But maybe I should. Let's see if my strength. This has an actual part. These are from 2015. Believe it or not, these are probably better. Okay, here it is, assembled in Mexico. All right, so like I said, I'm not trying to insult anybody because I might have insulted this eBay vendor. I got these off of eBay, and somehow I must issue an apology. Now, I got and compared this to a GM harness, and believe it or not, it is identical. So this has the part number on it. And I bought this together. I didn't buy any of it separately. It came in this box that doesn't say Made in China on it either. Kind of like those spark plugs I bought. I did get another set of those spark plugs. They did arrive, and they do say Made in China on the little boxes, on a little tab in real tiny print. But the other boxes don't have that. Okay, I seldom step out. I told you out of my theater of operations is automotive, because I'm going to tell you how these work out. Because now I'm throwing the NOx sensor code. I was having the problem with the idle, and just like the last time, I was driving the truck a couple days, and Lord and behold, then I started getting that weird idle back, up and down, only in park, not in drive. In drive it was fine. But a good way to throw a rod, or maybe throw a push rod, I'm talking connecting rod, when that engine's hot and it's out of time, those, I was telling people about the 5.3s, 6.0s, 4.8, I don't give a shit what it is. They're all powder cast rods, and they get like taffy in there under heat. So I don't think I'd have any calamities here during the cold weather. I'm just saying, it's my theory. Whenever I've, even racing, whenever I've twisted a rod on the track, which was seldom to none with my big block Eddie Sheridan. That guy was a hell of a motor builder. He could build me an engine today, but I never really twisted a rod except when that engine was smoking hot. And normally our feature races were not more than 30, 40 laps. It was only when I started running the bigger tracks and going down to Thunder Valley, but you're almost running a totally different car. It's got a bigger fuel cell and you're running more laps. You're running 60, 70 laps. And believe it or not, in 90 degrees or 100 degree weather, an engine can get pretty smoking hot, and it's pretty damn easy to twist a rod. An average feature race doesn't last more than 45 minutes to an hour. Depends on the cautions or whatever. But I'm just saying, you're going to run your truck with that NOx sensor code. You got a chance, and I don't want to take. I put a lot of work and love into that engine. I mean, it's brand new. I skimped on a few things. Bit me in the ass. Now, let me tell you about one of my social experiments. Remember I told you prove me wrong? Like if people come after you. You see, we've been the victims, basically, of not only a social injustice, but an economic social injustice. I got a hold of a few paper job applications. You see, remember what I told you about? I was doing them online. First of all, they want to know if you're bilingual, will you work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anytime you want to jerk your chain. I've been through all that, if not catch my older videos, okay? Because they go back more than 3 or 4 years now, my videos. And a friend borrowed some power tools. A kid just bought a house down here. An old lady lived in there, and she basically died in there, kind of like what happened over here where I live. The house could have used a wood stove. And first of all, the kid was trying to buy some of my firewood, and I'm not giving it up. But I will lend him the tools. Him and I'm fond of Jeremy and stuff, but they were here the last 2 days and they bought me some beer. That was my payment. No cash. Nobody has no money. And they're going through it because they had to cut the wall out. I had to show them what to do with masonry. You don't put a wood stove in your house without a masonry or at least some sort of masonry barrier behind it. And you do not burn softwood, you burn hardwood. So I had to educate the kid. He was not sure about how the flue would function and how the draft mechanisms. So I spent a good part of an hour and 3/4, and he'll probably still have a question. Oh, I forgot. Which, okay, let's get back to the job application. I put job applications in all over up here. Not a phone call, not a peep. I think I had 2 interviews. I mean, maybe I lied, but I mean, I could count them on 2 fingers, the interviews. I do remember having, not the point. I made up a pseudo name. Ruiz Jose Gonzalez. Put the applications in. Even same date of birth. I used a bullshit social security number. Get where I'm going? I had calls all week. All week. And that was just last Friday or Thursday or whatever. It was whenever I took my mom shopping. I dropped a couple of them off at different stores. You see what I'm talking about, people? We're being victimized. Next thing I wanted to talk about is, see, our economic and social injustice that our president is. He's more worried about the Jews kissing their balls and assholes and the Arabs in Venezuela. He's not worried about the American people that are hurting and the food prices. He totally made a window-licking retard out of himself here in Pennsylvania. And as I said, my mother lives in one of those, old folks' homes, and they were throwing shit at the TV. Look, people, the thing is, there are educated people in America. It's not that people don't want to work, okay? You can't take somebody, because I have a very facetious personality. A lot of people mistake me for, I don't want to go there with you. I want the honesty is people aren't lazy, but you want to be paid a living wage. And, we can afford billions of dollars for the Jews, billions of dollars for dyslexic dolphins and polar bears. Where the fuck is the money for American health care to keep America healthy? Our children are growing up unhealthy. They're growing up with childhood diseases and different things, and it's affecting them in older life, and they become social dependents. It seems like this is what our government is after, social dependency. Especially if you take a job, they want to rip any benefits away that you have, food benefits, medical, maybe you get, some other benefits. It's not the right thing to do. And that's why I try to appeal to people with my videos, even YouTube. Predominantly, I tell the truth. Just like I accuse this guy, of selling. I'm not used to having an oil film. But as I looked at that, when I took it out of the box a couple days ago, it may have very well have been moisture from being in my mailbox, because this was mailed. It did not come FedEx or whatever. I was thinking there was an oil film actually on those, but I think maybe it was more like some condensation, and there is no gel pack or anything in the box. But that's, like I said, where YouTube has been a good learning platform even for me. And remember what I told you, I could have done a job 3 or 4 times 10, 20 years ago, but to remember how to do it all over again, YouTube's a good educational platform. Are we going to let it, because we have a political view, are we going to let that affect us on YouTube, on social media? Because X is sure as hell, they're shadow banning me. I'm all over the president for that asinine performance that he did here in Pennsylvania, and not caring about the American people that he said he would put first. He's putting America dead last. And then Social Security, the COLA, people were getting 20, 30, 40 bucks. And they vote themselves every year a fucking raise of $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. What the hell are these? I agree now. No kings. The kings got to stop. There's too many rats and rodents that are kings there in WDC. At a time in your life, you're not a deep thinker when you're a kid like I was. I wouldn't have got to think this deep. I get the time now in my life to think this deep. But you kids out there, you younger people that are hustling, you got to keep moving every day. And I see the younger people growing angrier and angrier. The more they work, the more money they earn, the less they have. At some point, at a point in your life, your shit filter gets full. We're short up engineers. We're short up doctors. There's no shortage of fucking vulture lawyers, though. Go figure. There's no shortage of fucking politicians and lawyers. But you go look for good engineers like me. You go look for good doctors like I need. They ain't nowhere to be found. Because nobody in America is going to suffer and work under this. And that's why your Jews took over your corporations, because they're dictating. They're the ones that started taking away health benefits, the training. We have no. If you really want professional training, the military is the only place to go. But then the only thing is you could lose your life in that realm. You need to be honest with yourself, okay? What Trump did was he has taken away, a lot of people didn't vote. In other words, like people like me. I didn't vote before Trump came along. I didn't vote for Bushy. I didn't vote for Carter, Reagan, the other Bush. I thought they were all fucking scumbags and morons. I still say Ronald Reagan was the biggest communist twinkle-toed cocksucker that ever ran for political presidency, up until Bush, GW, yeehaw, and his daddy there. That was the takeover. And now they have to create all these boogeymen. Just like I said, somebody was threatening me. Why are you going to threaten a guy like me? There ain't nothing to get from me. You want to scare me? My cat out there just attacked the guy that came here the other day. I've got to watch. I'm going to have to get a beware of the orange cat sign. Meter reader here came to talk to me. A big black guy, built like the side of a house. The cat had both claws in his breasts. I've never seen a cat do that. I've had cats jump up on people's legs, even cops. That's a cat. I've never had a cat, and when he did that, he went up and went, mm. I don't know what he didn't like about the guy. The guy, to me, was the nicest guy in the world, but the cat, I think the cat felt as though maybe I was threatened or whatever, because he does that when I'm talking to my camera in the videos and stuff, but I am sincerely concerned about his behavior, so hopefully you're going to digest. What I do is I try to get people to think. My job is, in life, is I've always been on a thinking realm. You cannot be a successful person without thinking. Okay? If you want to be a mindless, brainless bastard, you go ahead in life. That is your prerogative in life. Okay? But in this impoverished society that we're living in, I've got to fix a lot of things for myself that I necessarily just would have took to somebody else. But now that I have the time to deal with it, I'm going to research it on YouTube. But also our political ideologies, where we come from, those things are important. All of it's important. And it shouldn't be shadow banned. It should not be suppressed. Now, threatening somebody, making political threats against somebody, I can see turning that off. It's a turn off, okay? I think Tim Walz, I think there should be some serious harm. That state representative, her husband, out there, Michigan, they didn't deserve that. Minnesota, rather. They didn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. And nobody deserves to have that type of trouble stirred up by social media. Threats. Okay? So, remember what made me step off the reservation of my automotive platform. Not to mention there ain't too damn much to do. Business is totally in the gutter for everybody. As a matter of fact, there's a contractor friend of mine, 86 years old. He's still contracting at 86. And he was pretty sick for a while, and when he showed up here at the door today, he looked pretty good. And no, he didn't smoke. He didn't have damn near any of the bad habits I did. But I was thinking we were going to lose him a couple years ago, and no, he popped up with the kids then, because I guess they're using his truck. They don't have a pickup truck. These kids are growing up in a hard life. Thank you for watching my videos. And remember about the League of Churches and all that other bullshit going on? No wonder churches are burning down. We need to start favoring the American citizen and bring America back. So whether you agree with my political ideologies, I voted for Trump, but I think right now, I think he blows. I think he blew any chance of any more Republicans getting elected. Because you see, the less people that vote, the more Democrats that are going to win. Trump did not win after the election. He might have won the election, but he did not win the people's hearts. As a matter of fact, people are pretty much enraged at him right now. And I'm sorry to say that as a grown man. But even me, I have a rage in my heart for the shit that he's doing. Especially going right to the Jews, giving them billions of dollars, and gave every American 20, 30 bucks. Good luck to you, Republicans, next election. That's all I'm telling you. You set your own fucking house on fire by being dumb, being stupid. You just burnt down the Republican institution with this asinineness. And I thought our president was a lot deeper thinker than what he is. Okay? Thanks for watching my videos.